it's hello to him, Richard Moore.
And it's hello to her, Michelle Monroe.
And welcome to our podcast, available on all popular podcast platforms, as well as being available on our very own Matt Monroe YouTube channel. You all right?
Oh, yes, just about battling on as ever.
Yeah, well done you. Well, firstly, before we get into anything else, I want to answer a question which was sent in by one of our listeners, Lathan Love, who asked if it was Dad singing The Good Life on the new Compare the Market advert. Sadly, the ad men in their wisdom chose the Tony Bennett version. Well, I don't begrudge Tony, as it was a staple track of his successful career, just like Born Free will always be associated with Dad. Incidentally, Richard, you probably know this, but the track was originally a French song titled La Belle Vie by Sacha Distel, with English lyrics later written by Jack Reardon. So there you go.
Well, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard his version of it, but yeah, there you go.
Well, I wish it was Dad singing it. That advert's
well, I know.
on every few minutes.
Yeah.
Well, the year did start out well, though, as Dad is featured on the AA insurance advert in New Zealand called The Home Intruder, and he could also be heard singing over the title track of the film Born Free and The Italian Job, both on Boxing Day, so not too shabby. The other thing to celebrate was the launch last month of our new album download, the 60th anniversary of the legendary Manila concert, Araneta Coliseum.
Yeah, it's been a while coming, this one. We've sort of had it in our back pocket for a bit. We've released the material before, but not for quite a while. This recording comes from the just straight from the mixing desk of the Araneta Coliseum. It's from the 2nd of January 1966, and it seems that they've just handed Matt a copy of the reel at the end of the concert, as sometimes they did, and it's sort of sat in the estate archive for a while until sort of early 80s, I would have said, just not long after Matt had died. A lot of Matt's reels were sent over to EMI for them to transfer for Mickey, Matt's wife. And they were all done, and they were all thankfully really well, nicely transferred to cassette. Unfortunately, the reels never came back to us for reasons none of us can understand. So we are only left cassette transfers. Thankfully, they're decent. And that has been the source of all the releases. The first time it was released was in 2008, when it went out on a Night Owl CD called Yesterday, the legendary Manila concert.
But you've made improvements on this.
We have, yeah. I've made some big improvements to this release. The problem was, because it came from the mixing desk, the sound that you get from a mixing desk recording isn't particularly well balanced, because they're balancing it for the hall. They're not balancing it for the recording. And so things that they can hear nice and clearly in the hall might not come over onto the tape. And that was a big problem with this one, particularly for the bass. The bass was really low on the original recording. And back in 2008, the technology wasn't there to help that. So now, with separation techniques that we have, I was able to actually split the recording up into various different things. So you've got a track with Matt on it, a track with the piano on it, a track with the bass on it, the drums, the brass, and you were able to then rebalance the whole recording and make it sound somewhat better. I was even able to put a little bit of reverb onto Matt's vocal, because it was really, really dry in the original. So hopefully this new version is a lot more pleasant to listen to than the original. It's still got problems, as it's always going to have with it, because of the sort of thing, the sort of way it was recorded, but it's a heck of a lot more listenable to than it was the first time it was around. Now, this is available from all download and most streaming stores.
Is it still not on Spotify?
We've still got a problem with Spotify. We're still working. I'm still battling with Spotify at the moment. Spotify have this policy over what they think are public domain recordings. And I should explain what a public domain recording is. Within Europe and a few other places in the world, Canada and a couple of others, copyright only lasts for a specific amount of time. And after that time, the recording becomes public domain. And for Matt, a lot of his recordings fell out of copyright after 50 years. The law has changed since then, so it's now 70 years. But after the ones that fell out of copyright after 50 years are everything that he recorded up to 1962. And the problem was that Spotify were getting bombarded with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the same songs being put out by lots of different labels. If you actually go onto iTunes, you'll actually see that there's still quite a few of those sorts of albums on there. Although iTunes has a similar policy now, but they're not. iTunes and Apple Music isn't blocking us. Spotify is, because they're treating our release as if it's public domain. And it's not. It's an official release from the estate, but they're being awkward about it at the moment. So we live in hope. My aggregator, which is the company that helps distribute the sound recordings to all the stores, is fighting our corner on our behalf at the moment to try and get that sorted, but it's taken a while, I'm afraid. So anybody who really likes to listen to stuff on Spotify, I apologise that it's not up on there. It's up on YouTube, it's up on Apple Music, it's on Amazon Music, and it's on Tidal and very many other
it's
sites
on our
YouTube
channel, though,
it is on our YouTube channel, yeah, but it is on YouTube. And it's we hope for Spotify. So those of you who are on social media, go to our Facebook page. I will announce when it finally gets through the machinery to be heard on Spotify. And hopefully we can get this sorted so that anything else that we release in the future doesn't have this problem. Because, we're looking at the archives now and we're thinking, well, maybe that might be nice to put out there for people to hear. So...
Yeah, but you say you're talking about time elements and hold-ups, and in fact, this wasn't supposed to come out just yet, was it? There was supposed to be another project, which has taken several years to get to
Absolutely,
clearance.
Yeah. Sometimes it becomes very, very difficult. I don't know whether shall I let the cat out of the bag and say what that's all about? No. We'll save that for later in the year. But all that's been down to getting hold of an actual master tape of a recording that we've been trying to get to for several years, and finally managed to get it, and it sounds fabulous. But we'll get to that later in the year.
And we were going to bring that out for Dad's birthday.
We were.
And we actually got it through just before Christmas after all these 2 years, I think. So it is going to come out. We've penciled it in for the summer, haven't we?
For the summer, absolutely, yes.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, February is always the hardest month of the year for me, as the 7th marks Dad's anniversary and, of course, the 25th marks Mum's. Now, Dad's been gone 41 years, and that, to me, is astounding. Because in one way, it seems a lifetime ago, and in another, it feels like yesterday. Now, I'm sure everyone marks the occasion of a loved one's anniversary in their own unique way, but every year I light candles on their special day to remind myself that the light still burns fiercely. But, of course, February is also a joyous time, as it's the month my brother was born. And, of course, last year my first grandson was born the day after Valentine's Day, so that was rather special. And, of course, there's another date to revel in, as it's your birthday and your beautiful twins just a day later.
Yeah, well,
so are you
twins,
doing anything special to celebrate this year?
Not if I can help it. I'm not really a birthday celebrator. I've even removed it from my Facebook profile these days, so people don't know. Thanks for letting the cat out of the bag there.
But you have a very annoying friend who can put it back on.
Yeah, let's just broadcast it around the world. Why don't we? Yes. So when it is somebody else's birthday, it was actually just at the start of the year, was a young Filipino lad called Rouelle Carino. In fact, we were inundated with messages about this singer last year, as he had an uncanny ability to sound like Matt Monro. He gained significant attention on a talent show called Eat Bulgur, and it was their clone segment, and he's wowing audiences with his mature golden voice. Despite not auditioning, but being scouted, he finished in second place. He's known for his charming personality, humble demeanour, and captivating performances, which quickly made him the People's Choice's favourite. He earned the nickname Bunso, youngest, Matt Monro, making him a viral sensation. He is now seen as a torchbearer for the classic era of music, evoking nostalgia for Matt's songs. In fact, Philippines Television contacted the estate asking if you could record a quick video for Rouelle's birthday. And this is it.
Hi Ruel, it's Michele, Matt Monro's daughter, and I want to thank you so much for your continuous love of my dad's songs. Now, music is able to transcend everything from religion, cultures, language, and, well, even time, and you're living proof of that, my darling. Now, may I take this opportunity of wishing you a wonderful birthday, and I hope it lives up to your expectations. And I wish you everything that you wish yourself for the future. And don't forget, please keep spreading Dad's legacy. God bless.
Rouelle was visibly moved by the message, and we wish him well with the future. I'm sure he'll be receiving many other offers in the industry. If anybody's interested to see Rouelle's reaction, have a quick check over at our YouTube channel where you'll see the clip sent very kindly to us by the Philippines TV company.
Well, in fact, something you don't know, because it only came in yesterday, was a message from his mum.
Oh!
Thanking me and, enthusiasm about how wonderful I was and for doing it. And I bless their hearts. I've had so many fans now text and message me saying how lovely it was that I'd done it. So we wish him well, because he's a little star, Well, last year we put up several of the speeches from the Grosvenor House tribute I put on for Dad, including my mum's and Bob Monkhouse, and it was a fabulous night with an envious top table with A-listers like Barry Cryer, Kenny Everett and Dave Allen, just to name a few, and a cabaret that saw Joe Longthorne give his time, as well as 100-strong Morriston Orpheus Choir. Well, bless them, as they travelled all the way from Swansea in 2 coaches and wouldn't take a penny. They had arranged a beautiful medley of Dad's songs, which brought the house down. Now, I was working for the Grand Order of Water Rats prior to the ball, doing the administration with the fabulous Alan Crooks, based in the Mostyn Hotel in Marble Arch. Now, the Grand Order of Water Rats was founded in 1889 and is a British entertainment industry fraternity and charitable organisation based in London, and it's known for its high-profile all-male membership and benevolent works, primarily with the performing arts, and the head of the organisation is called the King Rat. Now, of course, Dad was a water rat himself and was proud of it, and all of the 200 members have their own contact address book from their comrades. Now, Alan Crooks suggested that I send out a letter letting them know of the Grosvenor House tribute. Well, a nasty little man called Davy Kay, who had been King Rat in 84, brought up at the weekly meeting that I had stolen from the order and should be dismissed immediately. It seems he didn't like the fact that I hadn't asked his permission and didn't elaborate to the members that he was talking about the address book. He also demanded that all the rats boycotted the event. It was such a shame, as I was popular with a lot of the members, and certainly several did not attend, but mates like Les Dawson, David Burglass, The Bachelors, Alan Fluff Freeman, to name a few, did all come, and instead of giving all the profits to the water rats as originally planned, I split it with the Stars Organisation for Spastics and the Variety Club. But it left a sour taste. I mean, I'd worked for the Rats for several years and absolutely loved the camaraderie of the order. The members meet fortnightly, and in fact, the year Les Dawson was King Rat, I'd arranged to be arrested in the foyer of the Mostyn Hotel after their meeting had finished, and all the members were in the bar having a drink before going home. The look on their faces as I was led away in handcuffs was fantastic and caused quite a stir, as the only one in on the prank was Les. I was put in a police car which essentially drove around the block and was taken into cells in a secret holding area opposite the Mostyn Hotel. I was placed in a cell overnight and was released the next morning. It, of course, was a charity stunt, and at the following meeting, the proceeds were handed to the order. Great memories, you know. And, of course, Dad and Les Dawson were great friends, and he didn't he live near you?
Well, sort of. I mean, he lived the other side of Blackpool to me. I live in a place called Thornton Cleveleys, which is to the north of Blackpool, and he lived to the south of Blackpool in a place called Lytham St Anne's. Sadly, I never bumped into him because he passed away a couple of years before we moved up here. But I did work with his dancing group, the Roly Polies, and have some very fond memories of Mo Morland and her gang. She was a lot of fun. And he's still very much remembered up here. His wife, Tracy, and daughter Charlotte still live in St Anne's. And recently a statue of Les was unveiled there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I believe your singing voice was modelled on Les's piano playing, wasn't it?
You're so funny. You ought to have been a comic, you know.
I should just explain that Michele, unfortunately, is the only one of the Munro family who's not been blessed with a fantastic singing voice.
I'm tone deaf. Well, Dad loved dabbling in acting, and he did many a sketch with greats like Dave Allen, Roy Carson and Morecambe and Wise, and then featured in the movie Satan's Harvest with George Montgomery and Tippi Hedren. You yourself tread the boards and have recently been cast in something exciting. Well, do tell.
Oh, if I have to. I mean, I'm not sure this is going to interest people around the world unless they happen to live nearby me, but I've been recently cast in a production of Come From Away, which, if you don't know what that show is about, it's about the people who were in the air in planes on 9/11 and were diverted to an airport in a place called Gander in Newfoundland, and it's all about what happened to them over the 5 days that they were all stuck there. 7,000 people from 38 planes, which was normally, well, the town was normally about 7,000 people in itself, so the population doubled overnight. Anyway, it's quite an interesting story, and I'm very honoured to be Come From Away, and I'm very...
And when and where is it on?
Funnily enough, it's at Lowther Pavilion, which is in St Anne's, just down the corner from where Les Dawson used to live. So yes, so that's in March of this coming year. So we're in the midst of mega rehearsals for that at the moment.
Well, you know, it's almost as if you have time on your hands.
Yeah, well.
Well, now, listeners, as talented as my business partner and friend is, he really has very little confidence in his ability to wow others. He's definitely a glass nearly empty sort of fella, and convinced himself he had no chance of getting the part, and that his audition was awful, whereas I kept telling him he was talking rubbish. So why do you always consider yourself the underdog?
Well, it saves me being disappointed, usually, I think. It's wowing, hey? Wow others. I worry that that's wow, that was awful. But there you go.
No. Well, it got me thinking back to Dad, and he never really got fazed by much. The only thing I can think of was when entrepreneur South American Leonardo Schultz flew over to England to convince Dad to record in Spanish for the Latino market. Now, he eventually agreed, even though he didn't speak a word of the language, and recorded all the tracks phonetically. Now, his first release, El Buen Canto, went straight to number one, as did Toda Pasará, and the album went platinum in days. That was all well and good, but then Leonardo insisted that Dad came and perform in Spain and South America. I remember some of those first shows with Bob West, Dad's road manager, standing in the wings with these huge sort of cue cards with the words on. It never occurred to Dad that he would have to sing the songs live.
Yeah, I feel his pain there. We've got a couple of bits in this which are in some form of African language. There's just one song which is talking about the language barrier with some of these people on planes, and we've all got to sing in this African language, and it's not coming easy, that, I tell you. So I feel his pain, and this is what Matt had to say about it.
Well, fortunately, apart from South America, we don't really have a language problem. Although in South America, a lot of people do speak English, and it's mainly Spanish or Portuguese.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because I've got 3 records in the top 10 in South America at the moment. I've got number 1, number 8, and number 9. I've just had an LP released, but it's all in Spanish.
But you don't speak Spanish.
No, not a word.
Yeah. How do you go about it then? Making a whole LP? I mean, this is a problem.
Well, they flew a man in from Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
No, from Rio. And he taught me phonetically in the studio. And you just do little bits at a time, until it's right. And it's hysterical.
So do you think the English words of a song as you're doing the Spanish words?
Yeah, I think, actually, Brian, what happens, I'm not really sure of this, but I think the only way I can put it is I listen to the tune, melodically.
Sure.
I sort of imagine what sort of words I would be singing to this beautiful ballad if it were in English. And I emote that way in English, but I'm singing Spanish words, and I might be singing about a donkey in a field for all I know, or a steam train going down the track.
Because you sing in Spanish?
Oh, I have done for years,
have you?
John, yeah.
I know you have 5 albums or something.
I got a platinum record in South America.
But do you speak Spanish?
Not a word. I mean, oh, gracias, senor, and una cerveza. I think most holiday makers can speak more Spanish than I can.
But it's principally for Latin America, is it,
yes,
rather
it
than
is,
for Spain?
Yeah. Oh, no, Spain, we've had enormous hits in Spain. In fact, a lot of British people come home and ask me where they can buy Spanish records of mine.
The Spaniards find that irresistible, do they? They find your Spanish accent is absolutely...
Well, it's strange because I've been doing it now for quite a while, and the producer of my Spanish records, a fellow called Leonardo Schultz, we were doing a session in Florida, in fact, in Miami, and he said, no. He said, you're getting too good. He said, read my phonetic pronunciations rather than read, because it became possible for me to read the original text, as it were, in Spanish. And he said, no, you're pronouncing it right. He said, please use the phonetics so that you get it wrong occasionally.
Well, last year we spoke about the advances in AI, and if anyone is a techno dinosaur like me, it gives musicians and songwriters the power to generate content in seconds, synthesize sound-alike vocals, separate elements on the same track, and much more. And it can be used to produce lifelike voices, create voiceovers, clone voices, and create singing voices that can be used to produce original music. Now, amazingly, there have been numerous photos of Dad on Facebook sites which either aren't him or have been used to manipulate the image. Well, I wouldn't mind so much, but most are awful. And when I add a comment saying the image isn't genuine, people are arguing with me about it. Now, you and I had a go at it ourselves, asking ChatGPT to create an image of Dad playing golf with Bruce Forsyth. Well, we had several attempts, and each time the man in the picture was not Bruce. In fact, didn't look anything like him. So obviously, each time I blink, AI is getting more sophisticated. But where do you see this going, and what are the pitfalls?
Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? I worry that it's going to sort of take over a lot of the creative jobs. It's stealing from the creative people as well. So, anything that's out there, anything that's been published, in theory, is fair game. And so they're using something that you've created and are making something new from what you've created, if you see what I mean. And I don't know, that's very, very dodgy. There's a lot of pop stars recently have got together and made a protest album of sorts about this exact thing, about all their music being, taken apart by AI and put back together in a different way. There's got to be something for AI. This is the thing. The AI doesn't create stuff out of nowhere. It has to have something to to model itself on. So it's going to go and look at, if you ask for it to, right, here, I want a country song, say, and I want it to be about this, that, or the other, it's going to go ahead and it's going to look at all these bits of country music and it's going to think, oh, right, that's the element of this and that's the element. So it's going to steal all these little bits from here and there and turn them into a new composition. But this composition is actually made up of lots of little bits of other people's. If you use ChatGPT and are looking for, you're creating a bit of writing, it's gone and it's looked at other people's bits of writing and stolen little bits from here and there. So there's a lot of fighting going on in all sorts of parts of the creative industries these days about what rights the people have who've actually programmed, who've trained, if you like, these AI bots to go out and look for stuff. Because, I wouldn't be very happy if if I was a successful writer of, a lot of books or something, and half of those have been, or even all of them have been mined by AI bots, and they're just recycling my material.
But there's a financial guru in England called Martin Lewis, for those outside England listening, and he does his own show and talks everything finance, helping everybody through all sorts of uphill struggles and ways to get round things. And he's the most scammed person on the internet, I suppose, where they've used his face to promote something that he has never and would never promote. And he can't do a thing about it. It's been going on for a few years.
Yeah, and I'm seeing on Facebook at the moment an awful lot of fake posters for tours by particular artists, many of which have retired or aren't active anymore. And most of them are called One Last Ride, the 2026 tour, and a picture and an AI version of their face and all this. And unfortunately, some people are falling for it, like these things are real. Last year, there was an awful lot of posters, AI posters of supposed sequels to films that were coming out that weren't coming out at all. Somebody had just taken the original poster and said, right, let's do a version 2 of this and let AI create it. Let's do Father of the Bride 3, Back to the Future 4, all those sorts of things. And it was, the problem is that a lot of people cannot now tell what is real and what isn't. And I find that very frightening.
It is frightening because, my son said to me years ago, any email or message you get, if there's a link in it, just don't click the link. That's as simple as that. But now it's gone beyond that because, as you say, on Facebook and all this, I saw an advert yesterday for Lance Ellington's show at the Ronnie Scott's, and it says, right, I'm appearing on blah, 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 and it's sold out. Thank you very much. But is it real? And this is the thing for me. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah, you have to go and you have to check. You can't just take anything at face value. You then have to go out and go and find the official site and make sure that the information there is correct. And yeah, it's frightening. And but the other side to these things is, we could now create a perfect facsimile of your dad's voice from all the interviews that we've got for spoken word, and and take all these vocals from lots of different songs that he recorded, and tell AI, right, we need a version of this voice, and then it would create a new recording by Matt, and that's frightening. But on the other hand,
maybe we should try it and get Dad to sing a song that he's never sung and see what results we get.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should just experiment. But I would always, if we were ever putting anything out that was AI created, I always tell people that it was AI created.
Absolutely.
But interestingly, some people are using this to their advantage, though. Michael Caine, bless him, he's in his 90s now and retired. He has sold the rights to his voice to a company who now will you can buy the right to use his voice, say on a voiceover for something. Various other celebrities did it. James Earl Jones, who was Darth Vader in Star Wars, he sold the rights to his voice. I don't know exactly but probably Disney, so that if ever they want Darth Vader's voice, they're can use his voice, even though he's no longer with us. I mean, he died a couple of years after he did that, So,
well, in America, there's actually, don't ask me what site or whatever it's called, but if a loved one has passed on, you can speak to them because there's a visual of that person when they were alive, recording a load of lines and chat and whatever, and then it does something. So that, and they showed a phone call from someone who'd lost his mother. That one wasn't a visual, that was just audio. And he had a completely sane, normal conversation with her, and she was dead.
Yeah, it's like the Michael Parkinson estate has had a chat show with the late Michael Parkinson still hosting it. And it was actually a computer speaking with his voice, which they'd trained to ask questions.
But I think if the phone rang and Dad was on the other end, I might have a heart attack.
Well, this is very true, yeah. Although we've got plenty of recordings to do that. That's the worry, isn't it?
I mean, it's like anything. Everything has a silver lining and it can be used for the good. But sadly, there are people in this world that will always use it to do bad things with it.
Well, yeah, to do bad things, and, money wins, doesn't it? And that's the problem. I have to say that over here in the UK, the government are doing all they can to encourage people to steal everybody else's copyrights rather than actually dissuade them from that fact, which was where this project with the various pop stars came about recently. Paul McCartney recorded a special track for that. It's complete silence. It was, so, yeah, try ripping that one off, AI.
Wowza. Well, as I say, maybe we should try and get Dad to sing a song, and maybe we'll just do it for a bit of fun. And why don't we ask you, our people who are listening, what song you wish Daddy to sing?
That's a very good idea.
And if you want to let us know, write to the usual address, which is pod@mattmonroe.com. It'd be very interesting what you come up with.
Absolutely, yes. That's pod@mattmonroe.com. And that's the address to write to with anything to do with the podcast. Questions, stories, maybe a suggestion of who we could interview. It would be great if you could give us a review. 5 stars, please, obviously, if you can do that on podcast sites, wherever the option's available. That just about wraps it up, doesn't it?
It does. It's another edition, and all that remains to be said is that we hope you join us next month on Matt's official podcast. So it's goodbye from you, Richard Moore.
And it's goodbye from her, Michelle Monroe.
See you next month.
Bye-bye.